Hello and welcome everybody. My name is Will. I will be your commentator today. And tonight we have the GT3 Rookie Series Season 4, Round 2 here at Valencia. And for this first race we are going to be watching the amateurs, and for the second we will be going with the pros. Let's get into it and watch some qualifying laps. On board right now with Jay Davis, whose livery we didn't have last week. Now we do. So I'm going to highlight this a little bit. And this nice kind of cool metallic blue, almost purple. It's got purple on the rims with that green, neon green accents on that quite nice looking Lexus. We'll let some of these laps come in and see where we stand. Currently Sarantino in original pole with a 132.4. I'm sure that will come tumbling down as we go throughout this session. Hey there, Isaiah. Are you racing with us tonight? We have Steve Poe in the Ferrari, about to finish this lap for him. Goes from 6th place up to 1st on provisional pole with a 131.9. Nice and a quick lap there. We'll go on board with Sarantino for a little while as he's halfway through his lap. He's currently sitting in P2 in qualifying. He's hoping to get back on top there, as he was but moments ago. Goes wide and invalidates the lap, unfortunately. On with the next contender, Simon Tonkin. Currently 3/10 up on his best. We'll need to be going a little bit quicker though to get on pole. Well, thank you for joining us, Isaiah. I trust that you're in the Discord and have been talking to people, learning, and the like. We do have a lot of resources available for new drivers, so make sure to check all those out. Tonkin crosses the line, goes 2/10 quicker, puts himself in the 4th slot there. Let's go watch Wes Jones here. Chase Jones's father, I believe. Chase Jones, of course, a very quick driver here. Let's see if his dad is the one who taught him how to drive. You're Jeremy's car salesman. That is interesting. It's nice to meet you, and I hope to see you in some of these races coming up here. West Jones not improving there on his 7th position slot right now, as there's a car all over the road there. Car number 69, of course. That'd be Mason McDonald. Looks like he's got it back on track though. Not forward there. Quite a few drivers going quickly. Caden Hudson almost a second up on his previous, or on his best rather. That would gain him quite a few positions if he can hold on to that time. And he goes from 17th to 14th there. Almost 8/10 quicker. So a good lap from him. Quite a few positions. Simon, I believe it's, sorry, Steve Poe, still in the provisional pole for the moment. We'll see if some of our other rookies can take him down. I saw some impressive laps in practice from Gerber and Tonkin earlier. They'll be hoping to get up there with him. They're currently in 3rd and 4th respectively. Mike Cook, 3/10 up through 3 turns, or 2 turns rather. He's in the Mercedes. Ah, you like F1? Who's your favorite driver and team in Formula 1, Isaiah? Mike Cook almost 7/10 up here. Goes past the 7/10. 8/10 up around that final corner. He's going to be jumping a couple positions with that time. Goes from 11th up to 10th. Oh. I thought he'd gain more, but I guess not. Connor Knoll, 7/10 up on his lap. Gains a couple positions there. Sewell's currently 19th, half a second up, gains 2 positions as well. Not many other people improving out there. A lot of people either on their outlap or have invalidated their laps. So not a lot of improvement currently. We'll go on board with Connor Knoll here, who is on a valid lap and is 4/10 up. He's in that Marlboro Ferrari. If he can hang on to this time, this will get him probably up to 12th position, so 2 spots gained. If he can keep it up though, we shall see. Ah, you're a Verstappen fan. Was that before he won his 3 World Championships? Or after? Ah, I I see, you watched him pretty much through his whole career then. Conor Noel crosses the line, only gaining 1 position for that lap. I'll be hoping to do even better. Not many people on valid laps. Valencia is it's definitely a track where you can get track limit penalties fairly easily. Take a look at Gerber, who's currently in provisional P3. Follow him for a little bit of this lap. He's already about 5/10 down. We'll be looking to throw this lap away and just get started with a new one. AJ Polk goes across the line, gains a couple of positions there. Then improvement from his lap. Avoiding traffic too. So let's see how the driver through. We have Aiden Pittman. I wouldn't even know what kind of livery to call that. Just kind of squiggly lines almost, but it's a nice looking Lamborghini. He got into a bit of trouble there with that Mustang in front of him. Joey Johnson. And this Aston Martin, he's currently 3/10. I withdraw my previous statement. 2/10 up on his lap. Currently that won't get him a position though. Unfortunately, there's not many people on valid laps. Only a couple out here running. And you can tell if they're valid laps or not by the dots on the minimap. The red is the one we're currently following, the blue is invalid, and the grey is a valid lap. And as you can see, currently not a lot of valid laps going on. Take a look back at Jay Davis, who's 4/10 up in his Lexus. He's going into turn 11 here. We got that short straight down to T12. Lost some time through that little section that he had just gone through, lost that time he had gained. He will not improve on his time, unfortunately. Wes Jones going wide there. Right as we cut to him, that's got to be a commentator cursed deal. Sorry for that. We have Patrick Amon finally on track. I believe this will be his first lap. He is a very quick driver. He is rocking the Mountain Dew Ferrari. What kind of time is he going to set? He goes his first lap and just goes to pole. That's something, all right. Provisional pole with a 1:31.4. He will be definitely happy with that, but he's going to go and improve some more, I reckon. We have Luis here. He's almost a second up on his best time, which is a 1:38.6. But it doesn't look like that time will gain him any positions. As we're winding down qualifying here, less than 2 minutes to go. Tonkin's about a 1/10.5 up. That won't do him much, but it will solidify his 5th place a little more. Unless he's going to go even quicker around this last corner. What a bad exit there. Lost a little bit of time on the lap. But he might make a position up here, go up to 4th. Oh, he goes up to 3rd even. Wow. Good lap there from Simon Tonkin. Puts himself on the 2nd row. AJ Polk in that McLaren again. Only 3/10 up on his lap. A lot of people just staying in the pits for this last couple minutes of qualifying. Either happy with their positions or just not wanting to go back out on track. Polk's a 1/10.5 up, coming up on a stopped car on his right-hand side that has just returned to pits, so no need to worry about that. But lost some time through turn 11. Oh, and he slides out on the exit of turn 12. Unlucky for him. So that's going to send him back to the pits, I imagine, with not a whole lot of time. And I don't think he'll get another lap in. We will see. It's going to be close. Got 10 seconds. He is able to start another lap. See if he can actually improve on it though. Mike Cook, 7.5 up halfway through the lap. That is a good improvement. If he can keep this pace up, that would be fantastic for him. That would probably get him into around about 7th position there, maybe 8th. In front of him finishing his lap as well. I believe that's Hudson in front of him. Mike Cook goes up to 6th place. Good lap from him. He'll be happy with that, I'm sure. Glenn Jacobs about to cross the line. Goes up to 12th. Not sure who that is behind. That might be Lizzie. I believe it was Lizzie. What else do we have on track? AJ Polk still out on track. He is the only driver out there right now who is up on his time and on a valid lap. Almost pulling over to the side of the road and going right back into the pits. As we watch AJ Polk go across the line, going from 16th up to 15th. Gained a position there. Not bad. Isaiah, I'm not very good at setups, I'm not gonna lie to you. I mainly use ones that I have been given, and then I very slightly adjust them to my preferences. But there's not a whole lot I know about setups. I'm not the best person to ask about that. So on pole, we have Patrick Amon. In his Mountain Dew Ferrari there. 2nd place. We have Steve Poe, again in another Ferrari. Third place we have Simon Tonkin in a car that we cannot see at the moment. Wonder if I can do something here. I'll just go down the grid like this. We have Tonkin in his Ferrari right here. Pittman in his Lamborghini in 4th position. We have Gerber again in another Ferrari with, I believe, the exact same livery as Tonkin. It appears to be. And we have Mike Cook in the Mercedes, number 23, in 6th place. We have Tubog in the McLaren, car number 31, in 7th. And we have Nick Serentino in his Ford Mustang. And Serentino is in 8th place. 9th, we have Jay Davis in his Lexus with the very bright colors there. Apparently Nameless Racing, as you can see on the hood of that car. And we have Wes Jones, Chase Jones' father, rocking the BSR livery for the Ferrari. He is in 10th place. And we have Quark here in the McLaren, car number 852, starting in 11th. Jacobs, also in a McLaren, starting in 12th, car number 10. And we have, I believe, possibly a new face, I'm not too sure. Johnston in the Aston Martin, car number 121 and 13th. C. Knoll in the Ferrari, that lovely Marlboro Ferrari, in 14th. AJ Polk in the 335 McLaren, starting in 15th. Ormas in the 112 Ferrari, starting in 16th position. Wells in another McLaren, starting in 17th. Oh, my camera's running away from me. Yeah. And we have Hudson in a Porsche in 18th position. A little bit slow there. Yeah. Caden Hudson, 18th position in that Porsche. Eric Metcalf, the number 582 Aston Martin, starting in 19th. We have our very own Lizzie Alicea here, the Ipsos Junior livery. McLaren starting in 20th. We have Joshua Almeida, the number 707 Ferrari, starting in 21st. I'm not very good with names, but Luis Figueroa Sr. in the Porsche, the 201, starting in 22nd place. Then we have Mason McDonald in the Ford Mustang number 69, starting in 23rd. And that is your grid for this first race here. Of course, this first race is AMs, or amateurs, and the second race today will be with the pros. I would just like to give a quick shout out to our, I guess you'd call them sponsors here at Noobs R Us. We of course have SimGrid, who is hosting all of our stuff and is the site to go to if you're looking to race on ACC. We have Track Titan, which of course you can learn and use to get better, faster times, gives you very good information. And Circuit Core, who is actually the server host we use here at Noobs R Us. Quick shout out to them, and then we'll go over the calendar in between races, of which I'm probably going to screw up because Jeremy sent me the wrong calendar like 3 times. We are about to go green here, and we have done. Patrick Amon, not getting the best of starts. Poe behind him, barely. first corner. Doesn't look like any drama. We do have a car off further down the grid. Number 80 there. Wes Jones. Oh, and there's a spin for Poe, causing a little bit of carnage further down the grid there. It's not great, but we'll take a look at that in just a second. Still a couple cars reeling from that exchange there. We'll take a look at this now, see what happened. So it looks like Poe under braking, Gerber, sorry, not Gerber, I forget who's in that Lamborghini there, but sort of tips him, but Poe gets away still fine. Wonder how far back down the grid we have to go to even see that incident, but a small incident there. That'll be looked over by the stewards and we'll see what happens. Eamon still your race leader for the time being. Already has a 1.3 second gap to Poe in second place. Definitely better than our opening series crash that we had. Gerber going a little wide on that corner, losing some time as they come down the front straight to finish their first lap of this 30-minute race. Davis makes a position on Kwok there, getting past him, I assume around the exit of turn 1 into turn 2. Eamon must have made a mistake since he is now being slightly caught by Poe and Gerber behind. Right here. Gap 4/10 behind Steve Poe is from Eamon in first place. We're going a little wide there on the exit of turn 12. Might have lost a tiny bit of time there. It seems to be insignificant. Gerber going wide on the exit there. Hopefully he doesn't get a track limits warning because of that. As there's an accident in the background. That's C.W. Wells and Simon Tonkin there. Ran into a scuffle in the background. Take a look at what happened there. Looks like Tonkin's going on the inside slight. Maybe some contact there, not too sure. Moves over and gets just hit deep into the corner. Goes into the gravel. We'll go back on board with the leader of the race, Patrick Eamon. As Poe has now set the fastest lap of the race. Eamon's probably going to be thinking about that fastest lap, trying to go quicker himself. Hopefully he doesn't make a mistake there. As there appears to be an incident further down the grid. Look at those car 204 for Hudson. Losing a lot of positions there as there's another incident on track. My goodness, what is happening down here? 30 seconds back and see what happened. Oh, tap there from the Lamborghini sends the Porsche flying. Looks like the car stalled even. sure what's exactly happening here. Porsche going slowly. I'm not too sure what happened all about there, but it happened. There was an incident, of course. This is another incident. Oh my goodness, this race is incident central. So we have Wes Jones and Lizzie Alicea going off track. Probably just a outbreaking of themselves into turn 1. Thank you for the follow, Toro Motorsports. Yes, Rocco, this is Valencia today. We'll watch the front of the pack here again. Steve Poe still about half a second behind Eamon. And then Gerber another second behind Poe. This sort of front three sort of staying in contention with each other, and there's a bit of a gap to the next 3 cars of Gerber, of Mike Cook, Sarantino, and Davis. Liz, you alright? As we have another car stopped on track, car 335 of AJ Polk. Take a look and see what happened there. It just looks like he got a bit squirrely on the exit of turn 1. Lost some grip, getting himself off of the track and out of the way. Steve Pope still chasing after Eamon, but the gap has extended to about a second now, as he's gonna lose the slipstream here. Checking with Sarantino, Davis, and Mike Cook, the second pack here of 3 cars. They're a lot closer than the top 3. About a half second in between each car. Sarantino in that neon green Mustang. Davis in the bluish purple Lexus. Oh, as there's contact into turn 2. Mike Cook looks like he got hit there, keeping his brakes planted. Now getting off the track, but we'll take a look at that and see what happened. He's currently down in 10th position after that incident. Let's see, Sarantino is behind in the Mustang. We'll see what happens. Goes too late on the brakes, it looks like, and just taps the rear corner there of Mike Cook's car. There's almost contact between the 2 cars that passed him right there as well. So that 3-car pack becomes a 2-car pack with Sarantino and Davis now fighting for 4th place. There are knots in the base game, but we add them sort of through the community. We have our own stewards, Isaiah. We'll go over incidents in the races. We have Miguel Tubog here, going past Kwok. There's McLaren v McLaren race to the line. Tubog staying ahead, gonna go defensive into turn 1. Kwok able to hang around the outside. Defensive again from Tubog as he secures that position a little bit more. Builds a slight gap. Looks like Sarantino is having a track excursion. That was around turn 5 there. Go back and see what happened. This gets a little squirrely on the exit and then decides to cut the corner. Doesn't seem to lose a position there. I believe Davis was ahead of him already. I may be incorrect on that one though. Back to this fight between Tubog and Quark. Looks like they have quite different driving styles from what I've seen. They're taking different lines through the corner. And in the background there, you've seen Noel in that Marlboro Ferrari. He will be looking eagerly at this fight ahead of him. Noel is catching Quark here. Only about half a second behind now, and he's going to get slipstreamed down this straight. It's not able to take advantage of the slipstream, or there wasn't a lot of it, it didn't seem like, down the front straight there. As the leaders of the race have really pulled a gap. They're quite spaced out at the moment, but the mid and back of the pack seem to be in quite close contention with each other. Metcalf goes past Almeida, who must have spun there. You can see him off the track in the background. Ormas right behind him, as well as Seawells behind Ormas. Again, both cars within a second of Metcalf. As there's quite a big train forming, so I wonder if we can see from any of these angles as Eric Metcalf actually has damage to the front of his car. This will either shape up to be some good racing or a massive incident, I'm sure. As Ormas goes through there, turn 4, I believe, or sorry, not turn 4, turn 11. Metcalf coming back at turn 12. And the Lamborghini of Pittman goes through into 14th. Lizzie, are you going to be exiting the pits at any point, or are you just going to be staying in there? Pittman making the move down into T1. Makes it stick as well. Brave move. Ormas looking to take advantage as well. And Wells going through. Wow, Metcalf losing 3 positions there in a matter of 2 turns. Takes that position back from Wells, though, as he is under a lot of pressure here. Okay, Lizzie. Well, I hope you have better luck in the second race. Looks like the cars at the front of the race right now are actually closing in on each other. Slowly, but it looks like that gap is coming down for your top 3 contenders, as Johnston gets a drive-through penalty. That's got to be for track limits, and he will probably not be very happy with that, and as he also loses a position to Mike Cook there. Metcalf still under pressure here from Wells behind him. Wells staying on the back of Metcalf very convincingly. He will just be putting Metcalf under pressure, hoping for a mistake that'll give him an easy pass. It's like car number 80, Wes Jones there. Well, it goes back to the pits. He was off track there for a second. As Johnston also in the pits now, losing a bunch of positions. Mike Cook managing to gain a couple. Not sure what happened there with Senor and Tonkin, but they appear to have lost position somehow. So we have this small train of cars coming down into T1. That damage on the front of Metcalf's car obviously not doing him any favors. As Wells has a little bit too much power on the exit of that corner. Spins himself south, loses a couple positions there. Promotes Almeida and Hudson up a place. Now they're right on the backside of Metcalf. Metcalf just has a little bit of a drift there. That'll cost Hudson as well. I don't think that was Hudson's fault. I wouldn't presume it to be. Metcalf's car was not under control there. Metcalf losing 2 positions to Almeida and Wells. And now Hudson goes past. Surprised Metcalf hasn't gone into the pits. That'll be... I assume he got some damage from that last tap from Hudson. That won't, again, do him any favors, especially with that front end damage he already had. Polk going off the track there, losing 2 positions. And that was around turn 5. Just going wide into the gravel, losing a lot of time. Now Noel seemed to have spun himself out. We'll take a look at this. This is him coming up into turn 12, I believe. Coming into turn 12, just gets a little bit too much curb on the inside. Unsettles his car and spins him round. And he'll be definitely wanting to not do that again. He is currently in a big gap of his own right now. He'll be hot lapping for the rest of this race, I presume. Mike Cook on the back Quark here. You want an onboard with Cook? Sure thing. Some time through that last corner. Gain some back. Turn 9. That's lost quite a bit of time in the braking zone of turn 10 and 11. Isaiah, that's the full realism setup right there. Mike Cook slowly closing that gap. At the start of this lap, it was 0.8, and now it's down to a 0.5. The Mercedes obviously very good in a straight line. Not so great through the corners. It's a very heavy car. I'm sure there'll be some good racing to come from this little battle. We're going to hop on board with CW Wells, who's chasing down Almeida right now. We're going into the final corner. He's going to make the move. Goes down the inside, goes wide on the exit though, and that'll cost him. If he had gotten that correct, that would have been a position gained. But just misjudged the braking zone there and just went a little bit too deep into the corner. Mike Cook still on the back of Quark here. I'm not too sure what happened to Wes. I believe he was in an incident and then just returned to the pits, as we have Glenn Jacobs with a drive-through penalty, I assume again for track limits. He is in 21st position, so that won't, this drive-through won't change much. I didn't see exactly what happened to Wes. I caught it a bit too late, I'm afraid, Lizzie. Mike Cook just sort of looking for a move, feeling it out. He wants that 7th position, and he is catching Quark here. He does have the faster best lap, and he was faster last lap. So he'll be eager to get past, but he needs to be patient at the same time. Right on the back of Quark here through turn 6. See how close Mike Cook gets. Turn 8 going down to turn 9. This little sequence for turn 10 and 11. Looks like Cook lost some time there. This Carson is quite efficiently fending off Mike Cook. Almeida under pressure from 2 cars behind him of C. Wells and Hudson. Wells seems to be putting up the quicker laps of them, of all 3, apart from Hudson, whose last lap was 2 seconds quicker than the other 2. And that actually was his best lap of the race, as Wells making the move, going wheel to wheel into turn 12. Almeida going a little deep there, but safely getting past is C. Wells. Almeida getting quite close to Wells again. We'll watch this as they go through T1 and this front straight. Almeida not making it happen there, going right up to the edge. Wells almost going wide there. Wells might be having problems with tires. would be surprising. We have a shout out for Nick Sarantino, who's currently under pressure from Tubog. We'll watch this going into T1 here. Sarantino in the neon green Mustang, going really wide through that corner, through turn 1. That would have been a lap invalidation in qualifying. And that excursion off the track has given Sarantino a drive-through, which means Tubog doesn't have to really do anything to gain a position here. No matter what, he's got 5th place in the bag. He can just cruise around behind Sarantino at this point. There's a car off track, 335, I believe, of AJ Polk. Take a look and see what happened here. I may have gone a little too far back, but we shall see. So he's coming up onto the final corner. Goes wide and just slams on the accelerator, and the car did not like that one bit. Spins him out off the track. Sarantino going into the pits, I assume to serve his drive-through. And that hands Tubog 5th place. Mike Cook gains a position also, since he has gone past Quaker. Actually pulled out quite a bit of a gap. Tonkin also getting position. Sarantino is just dropping a bunch of positions due to this drive-through. I doubt he'll be happy with himself. He should come out in 9th place here, once the scoreboard decides to update itself. There we go. With 2 minutes left in the race, there's not a whole lot going on. We still have the Almeida and Wells fight happening. And we have AJ Polk on the behind of Metcalf. Will be looking to make his move either this lap or next lap if they have time. Very slowly through that corner. Metcalf getting passed by AJ Polk. Metcalf, as I was saying before, I believe still has damage on his car, which is not great for him. I don't know if I've been saying Jose Almeida. I have no clue, but it's Joshua Almeida, and I apologize if I was saying Jose Almeida. My bad. We have Pittman on the back of Sarantino. That Mustang's straight line speed is not going to be helping Pittman there, as the toe isn't even really enough to keep up. Oh, as he makes the move, does it stick? They're wheel to wheel. As Pittman takes the position, Sarantino, ooh, going sliding off the track. I wonder if he'll lose another position. Noel is coming up quick. But Sarantino kept that little incident under control for the most part. Almeida and Wells still at it, and this will be the last lap of the race. Oh, once the leader crosses the line. I made it 0.2, 0.1 behind Wells, Has to back off into that corner. Maybe didn't like the line that was being taken by the car in front there. Getting right up close to the back of that McLaren. One is making the pass happen there. Yeah, thank you, camera. That was fantastic. Almeida gets past Wells, but then goes immediately off track, and Wells takes the position back. Almeida's not going to be happy. He might even go for a full send through the last corner, sorry. As there is a car on the apex, and there's a little bit of contact there. This is absolute chaos. There's two people doing donuts in the last corner. Absolutely insane. Pittman on the back of Sorrentino here. I assume Pittman had made a mistake, since I think Pittman had actually gained that position. Oh, as Sorrentino gets spun by Pittman. Sorrentino is not going to be happy about that. Noel goes through, gains two positions there. Okay, Pittman giving the position back to Sorrentino. Good sportsmanship there. And then almost doing the exact same thing again. As Johnston now has an opportunity to take 11th place off of Pittman's hands. If he's brave enough, into the last corner. And Pittman's still looking for the clean overtake on Sorrentino. It's going to be a race to the line between these two. Sorrentino's Mustang just pulling out the power though, keeping him in front. As they cross the line and finish the race. That was a good race, and AMS will go back to yeah, they'll go back to their second race. We are going to switch over to the pros in just a moment. And while I'm switching over, I'd just like to talk about the calendar we have at Noobsaurus here. So on Tuesdays, we have the GT3 Rookie Series. On Thursdays, we have the GT3 Open. And on Sundays, and at 6:30 p.m. these races start on Tuesdays and 30s. That's Eastern Standard Time, 6:30 p.m. And on Sundays, we have a Ford versus Ferrari series. And that will be at 2 p.m. on Sundays. So we are here now with the pros. And I don't actually have a visible calendar because Jeremy didn't make me one. Or the one he did make me had a bunch of mistakes. Anyway, we're here with the pros. Currently, 14 cars on grid. Looks like we have quite a couple missing. As you can see, there's some gaps in the grid order here. Not quite sure what caused that. But in first place, or in pole position I should say, we have Zach Schneider. In second, we have Nicholas Menendez. We have Nick Kanya, or Kanya, I'm going to say Kanya. In third in the Aston, Darren Thomas. In fourth place, and also in the Aston, we have Efrain. In the McLaren, in fifth, Christopher Grider. In the Hot Boys Racing pink, very pink Porsche, 6th place. Jordan Walker, White Plate Walker, 7th place in the Mercedes. An old rival of mine in JJ Burr, 8th place in the Lamborghini. I don't think I've seen JJ in a Lamborghini. Not too sure. He usually drives the BMW, to my knowledge. We have Tony Danzig in the Mustang, 9th place. Casey Swanseer, also rocking a Noobsaurus livery, in the Porsche in 10th. You have Mark Miller in a Mustang in 11th. Jaden Lloyd in a Mustang in 12th. Devin Anthony in a Mustang in 13th. And then finishing off the grid, we have Giovanni Ortiz in a McLaren in 14th position. So a lot less cars on the grid for this race. And this will be the pros, of course. I just noticed Darren's livery. I think this livery is gorgeous. I love that green color. Not to mention I love the Aston Martin in general, but I just wanted to take a quick moment to look at the car, since I think it is absolutely stunning. I think it's just a gorgeous livery. From Darren Thomas, I believe he made it himself. Just wanted to highlight that for everybody watching. Darren makes some really good liveries. Kanya with a galactic livery, I'd call it. It's kind of like stars in maybe a nebula. And that car also looks quite nice. And that would be the pink Aston. As we wait here on the outlap, or on the formation lap rather. We'll wait for the lights to go green and the start of this race to happen. We're lined up 2 by 2. 6:05 in the afternoon in-game time. 30-minute race. And we'll see what happens as they are off. Green flag waving in the background. Schneider maintaining control of that first position. Wish this helicam was a bit more zoomed out. Doesn't look like there was any trouble through the first corner, which is always nice to see. Burr and Grider changing positions there, as Miller and Danzig are doing the same. No contact yet, but the two Mustangs are side by side, going a little risky through those corners. And Mark Miller backs off and loses position to Walker there. Casey Swansea right behind Mark now. As the lead at the front doesn't seem to have changed at all, but down here in the sort of mid-pack has done. Mark Miller losing another position to Casey. As there's a little bit of contact. Oh no, Casey was killed again. We hate to see it. Casey, I feel like, has been killed in every single race that I've ever witnessed in this league, unfortunately for him. He gets tapped by Mark Miller there, and both of them are now at the back of the grid. Jaden Lloyd getting past Jordan Walker there, as Devin Anthony's trying to do the same, goes deep into the corner. Slight bit of contact between Walker and Anthony. As we have a request for an onboard cam with Grider. I can sure do that for you in this very screamy Porsche. It's about half a second behind the car in front. Fully on board with him here. Watching his inputs. In fact, we'll even put this up to watch his inputs here. Hard on the brakes. This long left-hander controls it fairly well. Zach Schneider getting ahead of the grid. He's about a second ahead of Menendez now, who's in second place, building a little bit of a gap. We got this sort of long train. going all the way down to Tony Danzig, who was just a couple cars behind Ryder. Jaden Lloyd has gotten past Walker back here. They're keeping it civil for the most part. JJ Burr's right on the edge of Ryder there as they go through turn 4 and 5. Oh, and there's contact. Burr gets spun out, and so does Ryder. Ryder in the middle of the track. Really sure whose fault that was. We shall see Ryder losing a whole host of positions. And Ryder going down to 12th and Burr going down to 9th place. Unlucky for both of them. As the top runners have started to create a gap between themselves, as we'll see on the relatives there on the left-hand side, they've all pretty much got a second between them. Kanya is within a second of Darren Thomas in front. Darren Thomas has actually made up a position. He did start in 4th, and now he's up to 3rd. Dude? Muted. What? Okay. We have a three-way fight here between Jaden Lloyd, Walker, and Burr. This will be coming into turn 2. Turn 3 right here. Quite a big train behind Jaden Lloyd here. That's the front of the pack, in front of the whole grid really is now spread out. It appears so. I'll watch this sort of train come through here. There's about 6 or 7 cars in this train. And they're all pretty close to one another. So I'm sure this will develop into a lot of close racing and maybe a couple incidents. Darren Thomas currently with the fastest lap of the race with a 1:31.0. He's currently in 3rd position. We'll go on board with Burr here for a little while, see if he can make a move on Jaden in front of him. See Jordan Walker right behind Burr, just sort of poking his nose in, looking for an opportunity to go past. Oh, as there's contact between them. That's not great. We'll take a quick rewind and see what happened here. Jordan Walker right behind JJ Burr. Looks like Walker goes just too deep into T11, turn 11, and just spins out Burr there. Burr down to second to last, 13th position. I'm sure he'll claw his way back. He is a quick driver. White plate Walker spinning Burr out. A little bit of action behind. Mark Miller has caught up with this pack. He was about a second outside of it. He's caught up and is now in the mix. Pack still led by Jaden Walker. He hasn't really had a threat coming to him. The rest of them have just been fighting behind him, and he's slowly trundling along. Currently no changes at the top of the pack, but Darren Thomas is closing in on Menendez. There's a little bit too much action happening back here to look away from. Here with Casey Swansinger, Grider and Mark Miller behind him. This massive wing on the Porsche is not doing the camera any favors. Jaden Lloyd still at the front of this little pack here, keeping it in check, setting the pace. Ryder is going past Swansinger here, or wheel to wheel. Swansinger, sorry, Ryder sort of backing out, making sure there's no contact there. Ryder actually getting past Swansinger now. A good move. This is Will Figgins Johnson, who's commentating today. It's like my third time doing it, so I know I'm probably bad, but you know, we live and we learn. Jaden Lloyd still under pressure from Walker and Devin Anthony behind. That gap is just getting bigger and bigger between him and Danzig, who's a solid 11 seconds up the road. Miller on the back of Swansinger there, but sort of making a mistake, losing time. Walker on the back of Lloyd, giving him a little bump drop tap there, and then going around the outside. Anthony trying to take that position as well. The defense from Jaden not letting him do it. Devin Anthony might go for a move here into T2. Sort of looking at it. He hesitated, decided not to. Gets a little tap on the behind from Ryder. Is these four rather. No, there's five there. These five still jockeying for contention. Mark Miller, who's about a second behind the group. He'll be wanting to get back into the mix. White plate Walker now leading this pack instead of Jaden Lloyd. He's sort of extending the gap there, and soon he might break away. Nothing really developing at the front of the grid. Zach Schneider just sort of hot lapping. Menendez defending from Darren Thomas, who will go on board with here for a second. This gap between the two has stayed at around half a second since the start of the race. So they're obviously doing very consistent times. Be keeping tabs on this little battle that is forming. We have Devin Anthony here, going past Jaden Lloyd. Or sorry, Devin Anthony, who was falling. I want to see what happened there. Maybe some contact. This is going into turn 2. There's a car on the outside. Am I looking at the wrong car? I am. That was Devin Anthony on the side of the road there. Lost a whole bunch of positions. And that group that was all nicely bunched up is now just 3 cars. That'll be Grider, Lloyd, and Swansinger. Was a really nice bunched group for quite a while, but they of course broke it right there with that incident. Jaden Lloyd under pressure from Casey behind him, and Casey will probably not want to be seeing Mark Miller in his rear view, as he was the cause of an incident that happened earlier where Casey lost a whole host of positions. As we have Mark Miller losing that position to JJ Bird, who eventually has caught up, as I thought he would. As Casey Swansinger just decides to stop on the corner. I'm not quite sure why he's doing that, but we'll give it a rewind, see what happened, or see if anything did happen. Now that's definitely a new one. He just decides to brake and doesn't stop braking. Eventually sets off again, but now down in 13th position. And the whole grid is now pretty spread out. That nice little group we had gone in favor of some spread out competition and some hot lapping that's about to happen. We are halfway through this race. Zach Schneider still in the lead, with Nicholas Menendez in second, Darren Thomas in third, but not too far behind Menendez. Darren Thomas has actually made up a position into third. He did start fourth. Kanya, who started third and lost that position, is of course now in fourth. Efrain, who I believe started fifth, is still fifth. And Danzig, who started pretty far back, has made his way up to sixth due to incidents that have been happening. Or I believe he started pretty far back. Don't quote me on that. Too much action happening. Closest thing we got is Burr catching Jaden Lloyd here, but this doesn't look like it'll be much of a battle. I think Burr is a much quicker driver, but who knows? Maybe Jaden Lloyd is a defensive mastermind, like myself. He just lets him through there. As Burr goes ahead into 9th place, Miller will be the next one to try and get past Jaden. Mark Miller sliding about there on the exit of turn 12. Gorgeous sounding Mustang. Sounds fantastic. As this race has developed, it's become a little boring. There's a lot less action happening now. Miller is slowly catching Jaden Lloyd. Actually has damage to the front of his car. Goes a bit wider around that corner. Loses some time there. feel like this will become much more of a talking stream at this point than a racing stream. But we'll see what happens. We'll go on board with let's do some look at Darren Thomas, see what he's up to. He's only about half a second, 4/10 is bouncing between there, behind Menendez at the moment. Darren Thomas, I find, is quite the consistent driver. Very consistent. He'll definitely be looking to get Menendez's spot there. Taking a quick bite to eat. We still have Jaden Lloyd under pressure from Mark Miller, with about a half-second gap between them. Getting real close, almost looking at a move. He's going to make the move here as it goes side by side down the... Sorry, I lost my bearings there. Through turn 11 there. 10-11. Mark Miller gets the pass done and promotes himself up to 10th place, but has a drive-through. Unfortunately for him. So that place has instantly just been forfeit after he gained it. I wonder if he'll come in this lap and... Yep, looks like he's going to come straight in and serve that immediately. Hopefully not getting himself a stop-go 30 in the process. And that will probably put him down to last place because of that drive-through. Not sure if he'll be able to gain any positions back. I see Giovanni Ortiz going past Mark Miller at the moment. As Mark Miller is still in the pits. We'll wait for that scoreboard on the left-hand side to update itself. Take a look at Zach Schneider here, who's still in the lead. Currently actually has the fastest lap on track with a 1:30.9. Fight between Menendez and Thomas still happening. And that gap is closing. It was down to a 10th there going in through the first corner. Menendez has got to be feeling the pressure at this point. He knows Darren is a quick driver. And he will not be wanting to give up that position. Things considered, this has been a fairly tame race for the pros. I feel like sometimes there's a lot more carnage happening. But today's race seems a little more calm than usual. A couple of incidents still, but you know, nothing too major. Not like the Open Series crash at Watkins Glen, which was absolute pandemonium. As Menendez still fending off Darren for that second place position. Further down the grid, Casey Swansiger is slowly closing up to Devin Anthony. Do a quick check in here as they're going on to the front straight. Casey in the slipstream of the Mustang in front. But the Mustang's top speed isn't really gonna let him make any progress with the slipstream. Casey's gonna have to do all this work through the corners if he wants to catch Devin. Looks like Casey actually has a bit of damage to his right-hand side. Looks like the floor there, or just maybe the side panel. You see a bit of scratching there. And I believe Devin Anthony actually has some damage to his front. You see there, doesn't look quite perfect. So he's obviously either gone into the back of someone or been hit on the front. Casey is slowly making up time though. And Valencia is probably a fantastic track for the Porsche. Lots of smooth connecting curves. Of course, this is a MotoGP track, I believe. So they race here around with motorcycles. And so the track has to be quite smooth. And that warrants the Porsche, which is a very light car, quite a good handling car. That will definitely help Swanseger make up some time here. JJ Berg catching Grider at the moment. So there's some action starting to come back into this race in the final 5 minutes. Well, it looks like the front three is not really changing at all. Schneider's built up a 3-second gap that just really hasn't been coming down at all. You never know. As things start to heat up here in the final 4 minutes, we're slowly closing that gap on Grider. It looks like he has some damage to the back of his car as well. Is keeping the car in front. Swansiger watching Devin Anthony absolutely slide out there. And that's around turn 11. But Devin Anthony actually getting the drive out of the corner. That Mustang is just sort of really good at that. Turn 12. Casey makes the move happen. But it doesn't look like it's going to stick just yet because that straight line speed from the Mustang. That acceleration is just ungodly at times. I wonder if the slipstream will work this time around, since he is so close, but that Mustang speed is just nuts. Burr and Grider traded positions there briefly. Burr got ahead, and then Grider took it right back. I wasn't able to see what happened there. Oh, as Grider goes wide through that corner. That was unexpected. I believe that was turn 6. He just completely went wide there. Maybe outbraked himself. Burr gets the position up to 8th place. Grider drops to 9th. And we have two, I hesitate to call them teammates, they're just running the same livery, but I guess they are part of the same works team. That's Casey Swansiger and Devin Anthony right here. Casey right on the back of that Mustang there. Was thinking about it, had to let off because of the line Devin took. Darren Thomas is right behind Menendez still. Throughout this entire race, I feel like Darren has been within 4/10 of Menendez in front. And they are actually slowly catching Zach Schneider. The gap was 3 seconds, it's down to 2.5. However, with only a minute 20 left in this race, probably be this lap and then the next lap. Or sorry, the next lap will probably be the final lap once we get onto it. And I don't think that's enough time to finish it, as Mark Miller goes through on Gio Ortiz. Swansinger still behind Devon. Oh, as he tries to go for the move. Makes it stick for the time being. That was through turn 6. And he has gone ahead now. Okay, that wing is unbearable to look at. It's just in the way. So we'll go on board with Devon here. I don't think he'll be able to make this position back. They do actually have another lap after this though. Still, because they are at the back. It of course, when the leader finishes, when the leader crosses the line, that'll be the end. So they will have this next lap coming to sort out their positional differences. Devon obviously wanting that 11th position back. He wants to fight for it. I don't think he'll really get the opportunity, unless of course Casey Swansinger gets a drive-through penalty. I'm not quite sure when or where that happened. I did not see it before, but that is going to upset him greatly. And that will probably put him down in dead last. Unfortunately for him. JJ Burr closing the gap on Walker, as the leaders have finished the race. Zach Schneider in first, Menendez in second, and Darren Thomas in third. Those are going to be your podium sitters. As we'll go on board with JJ Burr here. Through the last corner. He's going to have to get a fantastic exit to actually get this position. And he gets a pretty good one. The acceleration of the Mercedes is not helping. As they go across the line, and Burr... Oh my goodness. I didn't see who that was, but someone was flipped over there. But Walker fends off Burr right at the line there to keep his 6th possession. And you will be able to see your race finishers on the left-hand side there. That is going to be their finishing position. And Casey getting the 30-second penalty for not doing his drive-through. And I imagine that will put him in last. I'm not too sure. We still have 2 cars to finish. That'll be Miller and Giovanni Ortiz. There you go. That is going to be your finishing grid. Looks like Melanson and Burkov did not actually join us for this race. But we shall now go in for the driver interviews. Whoops. And I will be right back with you guys with those interviews, if we have any.
Felt better in race 2 since I fixed it, but
Hello,
Yeah.
podium finishers.
Hello.
Hello.
Zach, I think we'll start with you since you were first place. Looked like you were just hot lapping there for most of the race. Is that what was going on, or?
No, anything but. Really, the only time I tried to hot lap was on the last lap of race 2, and I ended up invalidating at turn 1. This track is like super hard for track limits, and the 992 feels like pretty hard to drive around here in general. So I was just trying to keep it on the road and not get any track limit warnings. So it ended up working out. I didn't really have a chance to push, and I didn't want to because I probably would have died.
Okay. Well, are you still happy with the result? I'm not sure what you got in the first race, but second race, of course, you got first place.
Yeah, I finished first in the first race as well, but I realized afterwards that I had the wrong ride height settings for qualifying and the first race, and the thing was undrivable, and I barely finished ahead of Kanya, so I got lucky with that one.
I see. Okay. Menendez, you are muted right now. Are you? Okay. Tell us, how was your race there?
My race was sweaty because I had Darren behind, and he's a super relentless driver, and he keeps the pressure up the whole time. So I was doing my very best to keep him behind.
Okay, I did see you were under pressure from Darren pretty much the entire second race.
Yeah. The first race he got by, he pulled a super great move. We went like side by side for a couple corners, and then he made it stick. And yeah, second race I was luckily able to keep him behind. But overall, yeah, super happy to be racing with these guys. Like last couple seasons, it was the names I was looking up to in this league, and now I'm matching their pace, so I'm super happy with that.
I'm glad to hear that you are improving and you're enjoying your time here. And of course, keep it up.
Thank you.
And finally, Darren Thomas, who finished third in the second race that we saw today on the stream. How was your race?
Well, all in all, I'm very happy with them. The whole time, race 1 and 2, I was just trying not to lose the rear end of the Aston with my poor trail braking, and not let that bump on the third to last corner throw me into the wall. Everything else was gravy.
I'm glad to hear you
Nico
had a good
and
race.
Zach were smoking today.
They sure were.
I was trying my best to catch Nico that second race. I just couldn't do it. He's too fast for me now.
It seemed like you were within about 4/10 for pretty much the entire race. Was there ever sort of a time where you, now that you remember it, like after the race is over, that you should have gone for a move?
Well, there was, I think at least once, maybe twice, I can't remember now, where Nico must have had some moments and allowed me to get close to him, but I decided I'm not going to slow us both down this time and let the guy behind us catch up. I'm just going to try to stay back and let's finish where we finish.
All right. Well, it was great speaking to you all, and congratulations on your podium positions. Congratulations to Zach Schneider for the win.
Thank you, sir, and thank you for streaming.
It's absolutely no problem. Sorry if I'm bad at it, but I'm still learning.
I think you're doing a great job. I'm going to watch it now.
All right. I appreciate it, you guys, and I will hand it off to Jeremy so that he can do the raid, which I presume he is... Okay, never mind. He's not doing a raid tonight. But that will be the end of the stream tonight. Interviews are done. Some great racing. Couple of incidents that we saw. But I'm going to end the stream now. I hope you guys have a great evening. Thank you for everybody for participating in today's race, or tonight's races. And have a good one.